Viewers, welcome to another episode of The Regents. Today we are all the way at Carino Gardens in Gong, the home of a man that needs no introduction, the Reverend Dr. Timothy Murere Joya. Welcome, Dr. Joya, to the program of The Regents.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And welcome, viewers.
Thank you. Please take a moment and introduce yourself to the viewers. Tell us who Dr. Joya is.
Right now, I am a house husband. I used to be a rural preacher. I started preaching as a minister in Imeru in 1967. Then I've gone to know so many parishes in the rural, and also I was a town preacher. I preached in Nairobi in many areas, from Mathare to Kivera to everywhere, and therefore to St. Andrews. So I've been a rural, town, urban preacher. Yeah. And now I retired at a urban church called Kino. That's why I go to worship.
How did you get into ministry, and what prompted you to join the ordained ministry?
You know, I got to ministry. I don't think I even have ever agreed or accepted the call. I was just like Elijah, who said, I'm too young, I cannot go. I am that, like Moses, who said, I don't know how to speak. How God discovered and continued calling me, I don't know. But let me put it this way. One day, I got saved in 1956, September. And then, most interesting, I was summoned by Waji and all the elders of his congregation to go to his congregation. Previously, that presbytery of Waji's, Reverend Gadegi, the Kujwa G, he was, I think he was ordained 1938 or so. That parish used to sack ministers when they got saved. Like Kahuho, Dabi, all those. I didn't know how I was being called. Because he was one of those clergymen who didn't like the revival. So he gazed at me with the hottest smile I have ever seen an old man of 66 smiling. And he told me, we have called you to communicate to you that you are a cassis. God has called you to be a cassis, a minister. I was shocked because I had no call. But they announced to me, God has called you. They were looking for a man because the Mukureni is becoming revival. Who shall be trained by PCA to become a minister in that parish of Mihuti, not in the rest of Kenya, because up to that time, ministers were not posted outside their presbytery. Then I went to high school. Then when I was in Kagumo, I influenced a lot of people to be saved. You have heard them say testimony. Many students, even one teacher. Because I was very vocal and very challenging. I even escaped being expelled from school many times because of my demand as a saved person, a revivalist. Like I would tell a teacher like you must shave your beard. Because it's a sin to wear a beard.
Yeah, you belong to the revival movement.
Yes, I belong.
East African revival.
The high school was my pulpit.
Yes.
So I go there, and you think I'm still not accepted the call. Yeah. It is because I'm told. It's because I'm requested. It's a social orientation. It means church, revival, and what, and church. Yeah, and also by public demand. Yes. I went to Lemuru by public demand. Yeah. And so at one time we were to preach sermons about in the chapel practice. It was my turn. Then I stood on the pulpit and he said, missionary must go home. What I got to say? At time, it is good to decolonize our minds, and we can also reverse. We can become missionaries in reverse. We can preach in Europe today, another place, because they are not yet saved. We have been having teachers here who are not saved, who are still growing beard. We are still, when they are outside, we can see them taking their lunch, because it was an offense between the houses of minister. We can see them taking, I'm talking those on the pulpit. We are seeing them taking a glass of beer, which is sin. Oh no. Hell broke through. Hell broke through. But when we left the chapel, I could see I'm no longer in the college. So I went and packed my luggage. I didn't want to be, I was happy that now I'm going to be expelled. But I'm not going to be expelled. To be expelled, I'll go to in a park. So I went to also Welsh. I was the principal. With my luggage packed, I knocked at his door, and he was taking lunch. He invited me, come in. I said, no, I'm going home. He asked why. I told him I didn't want to be expelled. Okay. Because he was the principal. He told me, come in. We had lunch. He told me, nobody is expelling you. I too am saved.
Okay.
You know, so I stayed. It was not disappointing or anything, because I wanted. I was not looking for persecution, but I wanted that as big, as why I am no longer a student. But anyway, I finished, and I passed my university diploma very well. It was a Makerere University diploma that time. That was so well that I got invited even in London University. It's the guy who refused me to go to London, and arranged, because he was a member of the World Council of Churches. I go to Princeton. So it was arranged for me to go to Princeton. I didn't apply. Yeah. Princeton was looking for a student. And that's how I continued with my Masters of Divinity. I got my PhD, and I came back to start the Pastoral Institute. Already, that was alleged with me with Ngato when I was already in prison. So that's how I became a minister. By, I don't know what to say, by coercion, but by persuasion. So when I see people, ministers today, who say I'm called, I doubt 90% whether he is called, or if he has not been, he was not asked by someone else. If it is simply his own, whether he is like this Mackenzie, we have so many Mackenzies even in the PCA. So I want. I wonder whether he is Mackenzie, or I didn't know Mackenzie that time. I wonder who he is, because if it's only him, Moses was called, didn't call himself. He didn't say, I dreamed or I felt. When Joshua, every prophet in the Old Testament was called. You understand that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So I wonder, how did this man tell us that he is going to be a minister, and we agree? Okay, but anyway, good that we have a calculation that examines whether you are telling the truth or not. But for me, I was not interviewed either in the presbytery or in the... but others were interviewed. I remember I went to the presbytery. I was brought by Merush, Reverend Merush, principal, on the day of interview, the presbytery, by his car for interview. When I feel that I want to be a minister, and the Muhoro, who became the moderator of the General Assembly, is the one who arranged. He was the moderator of the General Assembly and also the moderator of the presbytery. Do you remember those days you could be of presbytery and of the General Assembly and have a crack session? That's what Muhoro was. So he was sitting down. After prayer, he said, we have an agenda. And he said, he told my principal, Merosh. This is, we already, why bring him for interview? He's already a minister. That's what I was said. I was told I'm already a minister.
And there is a story, Dr. Joya, that I'm interested in, that I heard you tell way back during our youth days about the East African Revival Movement, and you were administering communion wearing the very first pair of trousers. You remember the story?
I think the story has grown.
Yeah.
What happened is that we were practicing giving Holy Communion at the St. Paul's Theological College. You are standing and you are giving communion to other students. But I was wearing those, the first trouser of this kind, which is not bent. Like there was no other religious or saved person who could dare do that. This is the straightened and a narrow like this, not the one which. So I was doing it with that, and people were saying, Akina Nizano. You know, Bishop Nizano was my classmate. I can tell you who are bishops who became my classmates. You know, then there were revivalists. And here is a college, and we are full in the chapel. And I'm giving for the communion in Mushiju. They called it Mushiju.
3/4.
3/4. But they took it, but I could see them saying, but because they was, that's loudly.
Yes.
But I was modern. I was a revivalist who was very modern. I wanted to keep up with the youth. To go with it, I want to tread. I didn't want to be bowed by the revival. So I went again to the fellowship. I don't remember where whether it was St. Stephen. You know, I was very saved. I didn't want to miss
the fellowship.
And I went with the same pant. I was actually bought by a fellow student, or given his. Who didn't want to wear it. So I go to the fellowship at St. Stephen, and I was walked in the light. You know, people walk in the light to you when they don't see you properly dressed. In essence, for the viewers, it's good to understand that those days wearing trousers was a problem. If you do not conform.
Yes.
Conformism was the order of the revival.
Yes.
That's okay. So here I give testimony, and I feel I expected I will be walked in the light.
Yes.
You know, to be what you know Swahili. Kutembelewa na mwanga. Nilipewa mwanga kwamba mimi mavazi yangu haipatikani kwa mshirika. But anyway, and I had those small sweaters which used to be tied here, you know, and no jacket. It was, to me, I was charging to the brethren from A to Z. Then the other revival conflict I had, the second one, was when this gentleman, Wagatu, and said, I'm going to marry to. We were related before, they knew. They could see Dalili. So when I went to, I was summoned by, when the brethren had, I'm going to get married, I was summoned by Sira Mushina. You know, he became a minister. He was not a minister at that time. Joshua Ishangi, is still there. He's still there. Mushangi. All the brethren in Nyeri, they summoned me. Fantas were joining from Ukraine. I can remember them. And I was in St. Andrew's Church at 1965, about 65. So they charged me. No, 68. No, is it 1967, 68? So they charged me to go to the fellowship for trial. Because the revival have broken the revival etiquette by wanting to marry outside the rite. I would not walk to the right. So I went. They asked me, we hear you are going to get married. And I said, yes. Who? Then we kissed. Magaria, just Magaria was the one who was talking for me. He was told to shut up. that I say my testimony. Then, as they were talking, they told us, because they saw we went to bed, we are shigogum, hard naked. So they told us, you go back to Nairobi, where you, Mulere, I was called Mulere that time. You come and ask, I was given a date to return, now without them, without Magaria. Yeah. So I came back. I sat, I was told, now, I was shown 2 girls. By then they had already seen the brethren in Kiabu to tell her to stop bothering the young man. My wife was told, she can tell you, if you want to go check with her before you go. She was visited by the brethren in the Kiabu team. This is Nyeri team. Munanga team, Akina Esbon were not there. It is 2 teams dealing with us, Kiabu
Nyeri.
and Nyeri. So she was told that that's not good because it's not revival etiquette, it's not, and that man is still young and so forth and so forth. Okay, she didn't agree. Then, do you know who was being sent by Nyeri people? Karaba, who was the Bible Society African man.
Okay.
You knew Karaba? He was the one who was told to bring the team to go and case for my wife. Not to get married to me. Anyway, I went there. I was told, they thought I agreed. So I was told 2 beautiful girls. I still know them. One is not, I saw one of them, the other in Moiga. I was told, these 2 girls, the other one, tell us which sister you want. These are your sisters. Tell us which one you want. They were both teachers, P3. I looked at them, admired them. And then I said, what does that mean? What would you translate to that?
Well, it just means that you don't want to go for something.
And it's my sister. I said, these are like my sisters.
Yes,
I cannot marry my sisters. I'm used to them because we were in the same fellowship for a long time. So, but I said, but before you stop this, all of you go out. Let Mama, Mrs. Silas Mushina, go bring water in a basin, and a towel, and a soap. I don't know whether I can marry or let them or not. I'll test. I'll wash them. I'll take them. I'll tell them to take their clothes off. Wash them. If I feel anything, I don't know. They are not my sister. If I feel anything, I don't know. I don't know. I want it to be absolutely clear. I don't want it. Yeah. They said, oh, they didn't go out. The matter ended. Anyway, so Silas Mushira said, you go back to Nairobi, we will not come to the wedding, we will not administer the wedding or manage the wedding like we do. If you want us to come to your wedding, invite us by letters. Letter, invitation. I didn't like the letter invitation, but they still came. They still came. So, you know, so that was, I didn't have other problem with the revival. That was, the first one was about my pants. Yeah. The second one was about
your marriage.
Marriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I served in Tumutumu after you, and the people.
That's one of the mobilizations.
The people in Tumutumu still talk about the Etiquette Crusade, which became quite controversial even in the national media and in the political arena. What was it all about, and what prompted the Etiquette Crusade? to become what it became.
You see, what promoted it was Moi.
Yeah, no.
You know, already he said I'd be removed from, he told PCA, and you can see my letter for sacking was written by Moi, not by the head office.
Okay.
This letter, why Kuria was so clever. Do you know what he wrote?
Yeah.
The moderator of the General Assembly is required by the Supreme Head of State to take action against the Njoya for the sermon he preached, subversive sermon. Yes. And even this church believes it is subversive. It is letter, you can see it if you want to copy it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it is, the letter is still there.
Yeah,
so he wrote that way. Then they communicated this message to the presbytery to sack me. The presbytery refused. Then they called a special GAC at Mombasa to overrule the presbytery. The presbytery could not overrule the GAC. You get me? That's how I got sacked, because I refused to move. So anyway, when I was reinstated, I went to Mtumu. Moi started hearing my voice again, because the first thing I did was to call one of the crusade. Yes. The idea of crusade had come. There was no crusade before. So I used to preach not in the pulpit in the church, but I would announce in Karatina market, go to with the posters that there will be a crusade in the market. Do you know who would come to this crusade? People would come from the Nyahururu and Meru to a crusade. What do you think the government would think? Mobilization. But I was summoned by the DC to answer why. Anyway, let me tell you, before I tell you how I went to the DC, then people would come. Then the next I was in a place called Etiquette. There were many, I've forgotten the place, but the third one, I think the third one was Etiquette.
Yeah, okay.
Etiquette, it was announced by the president, not me. He was at the Muru. He said, I hear that Joya is going to call a public rally, a crusade. We will use all the resources of the government
to stop it.
To
stop it.
To stop it. Yes, it will not happen. Moi announces. So the chief of he brings a letter to me to St. Andrews, written by the DC Musoga, I don't the DC, to tell me Mutemi, so that there is no crusade. But then the crusade now belongs to the CAC session, not to me. I'm in the General Assembly. So I come from the General Assembly, go to Tumutumu, after the year, and I find on Saturday, and I find elders waiting for me, all of them, of the CAC session, waiting for me to tell me with Mahudia. You know Mahudia? No. Those thick ribs which if you have a boil, they are burned, they hot, they remove the boil. Yeah. I called Mama of Muya, a person who was called Muya, Washington Muya. She was an elder. I find her there with the elders, waiting for me to Coach Ochora to remove the boil, the fear, to hold the crusade. That woman was circumcised, so she said, me, I remember I woke up the night to go in that field, Yagatika. That's where it was a circumcision field. That's why I got circumcised. I didn't fear. Yeah. I knew I was going to be circumcised, but I did not fear. I still went to my Kipogo. Another retired elders, even retired elders are waiting for me. Kipogo said, even myself, I went there for circumcision. All the elders were circumcised. That's where we went. How can Moi tell us not to go to talk about Jesus Christ, where we went for outward things? That's Kifugo Gadesha? Kifugo is a member of the Arab Gogora around that area. Yeah, Gadesha, yes. Yeah. You come from that area? I was a minister there after you. Oh, you know Kifugo? Yes. Kifugo, okay. So they come there. You know, Akina Mushangi, all many elders. They told me, if you are afraid, we will go. No, we are going to remove the fear. Then I say, I don't need to remove my pants. the crusade shall go on.
Okay.
So, my watchman tells me, Joya, in the evening, that evening, the grenade, I called it the not crusade, grenade. Oh, policemen have started coming to the grenade at the night to sleep in the maize and in the coffee. He told me, when he was coming to work in the evening, he told me, Reverend Joya, the police are coming. The crusade is so well attended. Even the policemen
are there.
What do you say when you know the policemen have come to a crusade? So that people don't so that in the morning nobody comes.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me tell you, the crusade was come people even from Mombasa. Because of the announcement of Moi, it will not take place. Because they knew if there's joyous, it will take place. Yeah.
Okay.
Me, I was sent by the presbytery to go. There was a rally for the presbytery, Sunday school rally at near Karatina over there. That Madhaibi. Yeah? At Madhaibi. And the president had appointed me to go and administer the crusade. So I went there. The police didn't see me in the Karatika, so they knew there was no crusade. I had afraid. And the way the women feared and the taxation, the police also agreed. That Joya is not there. He's not going to address the public rally. So it's not illegal. So after the meeting of the presbytery, I go out and enter my car. By the time I start, I see 2 cars following me and 2 in front. No, 3 cars. Yeah. So I go to Katika, I park, and I'm parked behind and parked in front. So I go to I find you are singing Akina Kagwara, Kagwara is a minister.
Yes.
And whoever they are all there waiting for me to come. Crusades were mainly youth things. So I go there in front. They have Delito Johnson. Johnson this was the director. Yeah, the director of education. Yes. So even in the government, he was a county director. So they are there, and he is a session clerk. They have collected doves for me to come and fly and offer the crusade. And they are there even in newspapers, those doves. They were caught in the... now they are I knew their names. Even the BBC is now waiting there. By the time I opened my eyes to pray for the opening of the crusade, to declare it open, and fly the bird, I flew the bird anyway. Police now started beating people. Mrs. Katotho died. She could not run fast enough. She was beaten and died. So they start beating people. They come. The policemen come to arrest me. They take me to the car. They left the car. They put in the road to help me to run away before I'm killed. Policemen helped me to escape. And they told me to go to run away, and not to run to Nairobi, but through, through Mukoroine, through Kireani, get to the road to Muranga. That's how the police helped me to escape being killed. The police themselves. Yeah. So the next day, Moi said the police action was right. It is in the headline. The parliament meets. Adjournment supports Moi. Then the OCPD Nyeri asked the police officer, OCS in Kirimani, because I was staying in Jamhuri, to arrest me and take me to Nyeri. He comes with the letters of arrest from Nyeri, of summoning me to appear. I tear them. And I throw them down. I told them I'll bring myself tomorrow morning. Yeah. He agreed. I called Kiraito and the Kamangu and Kuria and others. I called lawyers to take me. I went to in Kiraito's car. My wife was in Mozambique that time. She was working for the Bible Society. I had some money in the pocket. I gave to one of my daughters. So since I'm going to be arrested, she saw the police. this money buy others food. So I went with the Kraito, we arrived, and when we arrived, all Nyeri was there. Yeah? I don't know who spread the word. People in the night were campaigning. Nyeri was, the district was at the OCPD office in Nyeri.
Yes.
So I come. I'm not even asked to enter the police. It says I'm arrested. I'm under arrest. Kiraito tried to follow me. He was thrown away. But he followed the car. I was taken to the DC office. We find Musoga there, the PC provincial commissioner.
Victor.
I was now under arrest. That's why it was my first time to be arrested in history. So when I was arrested, I was asked. The first question was very interesting because the whole room is full of police. They had cups of tea so that they had taken two. They didn't give me tea. That was very rude. So I was going to ask for tea. But anyway, you know the first question I was asked, why do you call Moi pig? Do you know why? In one of the crusades, I had preached that the people, the prodigal son, behaved like a pig. He had stopped. We are all like pigs. We stop being human when we sin. We are restored to humanity by the blood of Jesus Christ. That's how we are saved. We behave like animals. We degenerate when we are sinning. So we should come back to Jesus Christ by going back to the Father. When he went to the Father, he did not eat piggy food. He was slaughtered a cow. That's how better he was treated. So the DC asked me, the PC asked me, Musoga, why did you call Moi a pig? I had to stand up to tell him something about the policeman here. Sit down.
Put you down.
He stood me down. I told him, Musoga, now, since all of you, if you agree with the PC that I called Moi
a pig.
Yeah?
A pig.
A pig. And he's not the one who's telling me. It means that you are the ones who are pigs. Not Moi. Come and kneel down and repent. And I will forgive you.
Yeah.
And you will be saved. You see? So, not only that one is in my books all the time.
Yeah.
Not only that, then they had asked me a lot of, that's one of the questions I answered first before the others. They asked me, do you call me a pig? Why do all that? They had asked me, why are you against the government? Why did you call a crusade when Moi says you should not have? Why the chief brought you a letter? You know, so many things they were asking me. And I was not writing down. And so the first one I remembered was about the pig. And it answered all, they didn't want the answer because if the answers are going to be like that, would you demand others be answered? So then I started praying. Even though they didn't come for prayer, I prayed for them actually. So I shut my eyes, prayed almost an hour. So they say, the OCPD says, so I think the DCZ, Mr. Mutemi, who said, hate him. Tell him to wake up. Why? This is not a chapel. This is not a temple. Then I woke up and I said, Isaiah chapter 61, I said 51. I said, the heavens is my footstool, is my stool, and the earth is my footstool. So this world is God's temple. So that's why I prayed. Because this is God's temple. Then I told them, would you please, everybody took a tea. Can I be given now a cup of tea? I went, then the Mutemi says, no, this is not a hotel. I told him, but this is a public office and I'm here as a public man. And you took to it because it's a public office. Then he said, take him out. Go. That's the PC. When I went out, I found Akina, Garimadai, everybody. Hey, people had Akina Road Kanja. It was a public rally. You know that?
Yeah, I know.
It is a so that's how Tumutumu Crusade was. Mwindi came for me. Not to be, he knew I was in trouble. So one day he came with his, is it Mwaniki? They came to Tumutumu, they carried me and took me to home, and I never returned there because I was given, you know, I was saved by Mwindi not to go back there because they feared I might be killed.
Yes.
So that's how I was transferred from Tumutumu by Gagatika Crusade. Yeah.
Now, Dr. Joya, can you tell us how you prepared yourself for retirement? Because you didn't just wake up and you were told that you are now a retired minister.
Thank you so much. You think one thing is that I was already defrocked 3 times.
Yes.
And I didn't want to wait and be defrocked a 4th time. So I was waiting when shall 60 years come so that I can go home with my Quran, because the Quran had become my trademark.
Yes.
Not because I was a minister or anything, but because being the word minister and being called a PCA retired minister for me was the most glorious thing that could happen to me, because I had earned it.
Yes.
Through the 37 years I was a minister. You say 37. And I knew you are not stopping to be a minister because you have retired, but that's just like you go live or anything else. But you work, you are a minister, but and also you must. I was prepared to retire. I built this house. You came through, 1997. 1977. Sorry, 1989. I bought the plot. 1977, and I started building in 1979 because I had already been sacked once, 9 months. So my wife told me that we must build a house, our own. So we started building that. We finished it in 1982-83. But anyway, the point is that I was prepared to retire, and so that I can retire at least honorably. Because the time I was defrocked and I couldn't baptize children, I was really suffering. I liked to baptize, and I couldn't wed people, I couldn't marry people, I couldn't give Holy Communion. I didn't want to reach that position, and I wanted to retire honorably and peacefully. And therefore, the Constitution said you retire at age 6. There are many reasons I wanted to retire. I wanted to commit myself to wider ministry. So when I retired, I built this structure, including my other library and archives and museums, just like this. So this is one of them. There are 3 other parts of this. So I wanted to build a library, I want to build a museum, I want to build archives so that I can study. And so that I can be able to serve this country much more broadly and widely. And so the moment I retired, I was approached by so many people, donors, to do that and to be helped. So the first thing was Found Foundation. It gave me a grant for research to probe whether I can do what I wanted me to do, to study the masculinities, the typologies of masculinity in Kenya. What is the masculinity of each tribe? How does governance relate to masculinity, to patriarchy, to male dominance? I wanted to, if you can change men, you can change society. Because they are the ones who own property, they are the ones who protect, they are the ones, at least they believe, they are the ones who not only own, who rule. we started now getting, if donors want to be part of our enterprise. So that's how we were able to employ almost up to 10 people. We employ people as researchers. We employ people like Beverly Nonjango Garo, a woman, a lawyer, to help us. And we talk like you are Shuri from Nyeri, like Koesh. We employ people across section in Kenya, people who have degrees in their professional area, not only in law, in research, and so forth. So we were able to go to research from Garissa to Kisumu to Dewa, from everywhere in Kenya to Turkana. We were able to research and know. So if you ask me what is the Kikuyu masculinity, I can tell you it is cash. If you have no cash, you cannot get a wife, you cannot get anything, you cannot get elections, you have nobody. So if you want to prolong your genitals, you have the Kikuyu, have a full pocket. Those are not the God-made one. Kasha-made one.
Kasha masculinity.
Kasha-made organs. Now, if you are a Luo, you have to have degrees. Be a could be doctor, could be a professor, those kind of titles.
Now, again, this is also a very familiar topic to you and you have been in it. Do you think the proximity today between the church and state is a danger to the development of the country?
No. It depends on the definition. What is there is the difference between the state and the nation. We are the nation. Nation is the people. Natos, meaning people who are born together, they are nation. It's our human relationship, it's called nation. That's our nationality. There's nobody who calls it statehood something. State is the organ of self-interest. It's a conglomeration, it's an organization, it's a structure of human self-interest, not of human beings. Our identity, our humanity is God-given. We are created in the likeness of God. The state was not created by God. It's an instrument, human instrument. Yeah, for achieving their goal. So we try to use the Bible to define what is the state. And that's what I was fought for. That's what the 3 times I've been killed by the government is trying to define the state according to the biblical definition. About according to the word of God, any leadership, any form of governance must be a form of relationship where material relationships are for instruments. They are for caring, for love one another, for extending God's kingdom, God healing, God giving people food when they're hungry. So the state is definitely, but according to the Bible, a system in which the nation cares for everybody. And everybody is cared for everybody, and everybody cares for everybody. So I'm saying, when you have that kind of state, the church cannot avoid defining what is the state. The church is a nation. Go and make, if you have read the Bible, I think you have read this verse, go and make all nations my disciples, not people. The word people, but nations. Go make all nations my disciples. So the nation is different from the state. Then the command is the nation take masirahi ya wengine. Moya used to use that phrase. Take care of each other's interests, each other's needs. You can only do that to all by having a state. That's why we pay taxes to take care of all. Everybody should pay taxes. The other day I came from here, as we do research, I have helped a lot of Methodist people about masculinity. I came here all the way to Maua. Had a seminar, we had a workshop there. One morning with about 2 or 3 cars to go and teach this with my staff. oh, the road from Nairobi to Maua is tarmac. How long would it take me to take you to that road and put a tarmac? So I like people to pay tarmac, to put tarmac everywhere I want to go.
Yeah, you're right.
They are mentioning to me without knowing, because I want to go there and there's no other way other than a good road. The same thing, I got sick the other day. I went to hospital. If there was no hospital, would I have been in my hospital that day?
No.
Okay, so I'm cared for by this country because it has hospitals, it has roads, it has schools. Where could I have taken my children? So the state does take care of those needs of mine, which the nation erects the state to do it for them. The people, as a nation, they are not surrendering their sovereignty. Let's go back to my sermons, which I was beaten and which was sacked. I told Kenyans, people, to reclaim their God-given sovereignty. Genesis chapter 1 verse 26. And God made them male and female, not male alone. He made them male and female, and he gave them dominion, sovereignty of all the things on the earth. Didn't he? Birds of the air, fish of the sea, all things. So because God gave us sovereignty, we cannot make an institution and surrender our sovereignty to it. We cannot delegate sovereignty. Who can teach that? The one you have to read Genesis to teach that.
Yes, you're right.
And you have to read also Genesis where it says, and God made them in his own likeness. The nations are God's likeness because they are the people. And therefore I'm saying a church cannot leave the state to define itself because it does not exist anywhere in the Bible. What exists is the people, God's people, as a nation. And I therefore, and Jesus did not command us to go to a state, he commanded us to go to all nations. People organized to take care of each other. Because the first commandment is love the Lord with all your God, with all your heart and mind and soul. What is the other one? And love the neighbor as yourself. How do you take care of your neighbor like you take care of yourself? You go to a meeting where you collectively build a school so that their neighbor can go take children of their neighbor. You go to a meeting where you collectively build a hospital. And since you cannot do that, you pay taxes. So we need to have a government that takes care of our commission by God to take care of each other. And the state is an instrument which it does not do that, we remove it. So every 5 years the state must come to account whether it did what we want. Does the nation have to account to anybody? No. Is there a meeting that if you are Kenyan, you stop being a Kenyan if you don't do this? No, because there is no you can cease. Even if you are dead, you are still a Kenyan. Your will is honored when you are dead. But the state is a temporary. That's why it's called temporal. The church is not temporal. No. The church is the body of Christ. And the nation is not temporal. The nation is there. And in Revelation, and all the nations shall gather. And in Ephesians, and all the nations shall kneel before God and acknowledge Jesus Christ as Lord. So we are talking about nations, not states. The state is there by necessity, but it doesn't exist because we need it. Yes, if we don't need it, we remove it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Dr. Joya, for your time and sharing so many things. I know we can spend the whole day here discussing so many issues and areas of life and ministry. But I want to thank you that you created this time for us and you gave us all that information. The viewers are very happy about it. So may the Lord bless you and continue to be with you. I know you have severally said that you will live to be 139 years, and we continue to pray for you.
So you know that?
I know that. You have said that so many times. So we pray for you to continue growing in grace and wisdom through the remaining part of your life in this world. May the Lord bless you so much.
And bless you too.
Thank you for welcoming us. So viewers, thank you for listening to the to the Reverend Dr. Timothy Joya.
And by the way, let me say before you leave that Reverend Karimi welcomed me some years ago in Boston. At Boston. And I left where I was teaching, giving a what you call the keynote address at Atlanta to the church mission to Kenya. I left my scarf there, and he bought me a scarf. So anytime I wear a scarf, I always remember him.
Thank you so much. I feel honored to have hosted you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, viewers, for listening. I'll see you in the next episode of The Legends. May the Lord bless you. Amen.